Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. The second half underway here inside Bill Greehey Arena. Brian Maglioan alongside Joe Rodriguez calling the action here this evening as Morgan Pullins with the putback. And St. Mary's on the board here in the second half. Rattlers now trailing by 4. And Joe, what adjustments do you expect to see from the Rattlers, who allowed 6 3-pointers from the opposing Hillcats in the first half?
Well, I expect St. Mary's to go on ahead, maybe take a step closer to their shooters and try to make sure that the Hillcats can beat them inside as well. Also, a big adjustment I expect to see out of St. Mary's. They got out-rebounded in that first half, something that's uncharacteristic of them. As a gorgeous move there by Etheridge as she manages to snake her way into the lane and lay it in for 2. St. Mary's, they got out-rebounded 17-14 in that first half. Uncharacteristic for St. Mary's, and I'm sure something that they discussed heading into the second half.
Oh, ball bouncing around dangerously. Rogers State still with possession, 10 on the shot clock. Ball on the left side, dribble, kick out. The 3 is launched. Off the front rim, no good. Etheridge with the board. And good protection there by Kiara as she brings the ball up the floor. A minute and a half has gone by in the first half, or in the second half rather, as Little John feeds Pullins down low, who had great positioning, unable to hit as the ball ends up in the hands of Jordan Evans.
Yeah, and you see St. Mary's coming out firing. They scored on their first 2 possessions, slowing down a little bit here on the third one, but then again, you can't expect to score every possession. And Brian, I think you're going on ahead. You're looking at some of those leaders from the first half.
Right here on our live stats, which you can find on rattlerathletics.com, as the shot is missed by Newton. Rather, that was Bunch. And now here's Little John working the right side. And the leaders so far in this game for St. Mary's, Kiara Etheridge with 12 points now. Morgan Pullins with 10. She's the only other Rattler in double digits. The only other player in double digits is Michaela Newton, as she has 15 to lead all scores. Jade Hardy with 6 points off of 2 3-pointers. Jordan Evans with 3, along with Brianna Buford.
And timeout taken here by the Hillcats, as they'll look to talk things over. St. Mary's starting the second half with a flurry. They've already scored 4 points and a foul committed by the Hillcats. That one was on Newton, her second one. And Brian, we discussed the 3-point shooting, but specifically when you have shooters who are hot up against you, what kind of defensive adjustments do you have to make going into a second half?
St. Mary's might just have to, quite honestly, stay home on the shooters and, in essence, leave their bigs down low to contend with the driving players. But that's what has been effective for Rogers State, is their dribble kick out, their dribble penetration, collapsing the defense and then kicking it out to very capable 3-point shooters. It'll be interesting to see how St. Mary's adjusts to that, as we've already seen a 3 missed here in the second half by Rogers State.
And the difficult thing about it is it's not just one player who's shooting 3s for Rogers State. I mean, Newton, she's shot 7, and she's made 3 of them, so she's the primary threat and the one that the Rattlers definitely have to stick on top of. But Burford's made a 3, Hardy's made a 3, and a couple of other Hillcats have attempted as well. So it's not just one player that St. Mary's just has to absolutely stick to like glue. Loose ball on the ground. It's going to be a jump ball, and possessions will go on over to the Hillcats.
Possession arrow goes to the Hillcats.
Possession arrow pointing towards the Hillcats side as they will bring the ball up. Unfortunate possession there for St. Mary's, who were able to get the ball inside the paint, but just bounced the wrong way. And now entry pass, Pullins, blocked shot there as ball ends up in the hands of Desi Elias. Elias, crossover dribble. She's got Pullins in front, Etheridge behind her, but she also had Bunch as well. Behind the back pass by Bunch, and it's stolen away. That's what you get for showboating on the fast break. And I'm pretty sure head coach Bobby Cope was not happy with that showboating move. It's one thing to do it when you're up by 20. It's another thing to do it when you're up by only 2, as Littlejohn will head to the line to shoot 2 free throws.
And the behind the back pass, it's a useful tool if you can do it effectively. But the thing is, you have to know when to do it. The only time where you do a behind the back pass and it's acceptable is when a forward facing pass is just not feasible. There on a fast break, you have your options to take your pick. And while the behind the back pass might look good, it's still something where you would rather go with just a regular simple bounce pass. And that one good for Littlejohn. And score now 31-30 in favor of the Hillcats. St. Mary's starting to pick up the ball a little bit further up the court, perhaps trying to speed up the tempo just a bit.
Rattlers trail by 1, 16 and a half left to play as the pass finds nobody and it ends up out of bounds. Rattlers with possession as Trowell inbounds it to Kyra Littlejohn. Littlejohn, one of the seniors on this Rattler squad from Southfield, Michigan. Marquez now with the ball.
Also, Trowell is checked into the game for Desi Elias. Trowell actually the only player on St. Mary's bench to even attempt a shot in that first half.
Entry past the Pullens gets blocked. Morgan falls away. She gets hacked, and the Hillcats with the ball as they look to push. Entry pass down low, and Morgan Pullens turns back that shot. Jordan Evans did not see it coming, but Morgan read it the whole way through as she denies yet another shot. And that is 4 blocks now for Morgan Pullens as she's hosting a block party here inside Bill Greehey Arena. Rattlers trail by 1, 15:56 left to play. We'll be right back after this. After the media timeout, Rogers State with possession. They are up by 1. The mid-range jumper, no good, but the long rebound back to the Hillcats as they have a fresh shot clock. Bunch working on Littlejohn. Shot from the left side, rimming no good. Pullens rips that one down as she gets it over to Littlejohn. Kyra bringing the ball up. St. Mary's trailing by 1. Etheridge with the ball gets a screen from Trowell. Etheridge nearly loses it but maintains possession. 15 on the shot clock, over to Littlejohn. Littlejohn driving down baseline. Littlejohn throws one up, no good. And it is tipped over to Rogers State. Pull up 3. And it is out of bounds as it bounces off the rim and over the backboard.
As we start to see the percentage even out just a little bit. Heading into the half, it was roughly 66% shooting from behind the line for the Hillcats. Since then, they haven't made a 3, and now they're shooting at 40% for the game from that 3-point line. It's something that will typically even out as the game seems to go on. There's a reason why your average is what your average is.
And an offensive foul is called on Trowell. That'll be her first personal foul. First team foul against St. Mary's.
Yeah, Emily got caught trying to get a little seal off so that Morgan could get the deep position she wanted. Didn't have her feet set for it, so a call for the offensive.
Hardy gets swarmed by Elias and Pullins, and Morgan finds a way to get it to Desi. Elias flips it up, no good, but the foul is called. She tried to get it to Littlejohn. Little ball fake, was able to free up just enough space for her to get the shot off as she is fouled.
And Morgan has been an absolute beast on the defensive end today. She has those 4 blocks like you mentioned before we went to the break, and now 4 steals to go along with that. If she starts to get some assists, we could be seeing an elusive 5-for-5 kind of game out of Morgan. And those are just ridiculous numbers for versatility-wise.
And a rare pair of missed free throws by Desi Elias, as St. Mary's remains down by 1. Rogers State has not scored a single point here in the second half, as pullback jumper is good. That was Cammie Bunch, and they'll mark it down as a 2-pointer as her toe was just on the line.
I think they heard you, and they decided they wanted to try to get you to shut your mouth a little bit. They're like,
just a smidge.
Let's get this bucket.
Oh, bad entry pass off the fingertips of Pullins, and Bunch brings the ball up. Elias trying to prevent the pass down low. Bunch behind the back dribble, able to protect the ball. Here's Hardy guarded by Trowell. They have the switch down low. They get it down low, bat it around, still up for grabs. Scramble for the ball, and jump ball will go to St. Mary's. Pugnacious defensive effort there by Littlejohn and the Rattlers.
Yeah, and I like what St. Mary's did there a lot. Again, good defense on the entry pass by these St. Mary's bigs. And after they saw the ball was loose, you saw 3 gray jerseys all over that one. Force the jump ball, possession arrow over to the Rattlers. Here's Elias for 3, no good.
That one rims out, and now here comes Rogers State. Bunch, hesitation dribble, nearly lost it, spins, launches, unable to hit as Pullins tips it to herself. As Elias pushing it up, Littlejohn in the corner, up top to Etheridge. Hesitation move, gets stripped. Trowell comes up with it. Pullins, free throw line jumper is good.
She's so confident on that free throw line jumper now. I saw her shooting it in warm-ups, and I don't think she missed a single one while she was warming up. She made about 8 in a row before she was ready to go today.
And when you give Morgan that much space, she will burn you, as on that play, Jones burns the Rattler defense as she goes in untouched for 2. 35-32. Rattlers still trailing by 3. Elias with the ball, thought about the 3. She's on the left side. Littlejohn swings it over to the right side. Etheridge back to Littlejohn. Elias, 10 on the shot clock for St. Mary's as they work the ball around. Slashing move by Etheridge as she gets fouled. She'll head to the line, and she'll shoot 2 free throws, but after this timeout, we are under 12 minutes. Rattlers trail by 3, 35-32, as you're watching Rattler basketball on the Rattler Network. the many activities going on here inside Bill Greehey Arena, as we had one of the St. Mary's students in attendance attempting to win a prize courtesy of our very own David Tovar. And now back to the action as Kiara Etheridge will head to the line to shoot 2 free throws. Back rim, no good. And free throw shooting has been something St. Mary's has struggled with here in this game. 45% from behind the charity stripe. Rogers State a perfect 5 for 5 as Etheridge able to sink 1 of 2. Rattlers 6 of 12 from the free throw line.
Yeah, and usually St. Mary's as a team, they shoot around that 65% range, which isn't necessarily an ideal percentage to shoot, but if they were shooting 65, oh, great find there by Littlejohn, and Pullins gets it with the left-handed lay-in. We got ourselves a squared up ball game with 11:30 remaining in the second half.
Good find indeed by Kyra Littlejohn. Elias got caught trying to steal the ball as Hardy's 3 off the iron, no good. Troell battling for the board, comes up with it. Desi getting instructions from Coach Martins. Rattlers tied at 35. Littlejohn in and out dribble. Desi thought about the 3, jab step, dribble left. Desi splits the D, and she is called for the offensive foul. Hardy got in the way.
Good heads-up defense there by Hardy. As, it looks like a press is starting to come out here by the Rattlers. Looks like a diamond press, but it's quickly beaten as St. Mary's wasn't completely set up for it. But a bad pass there, and the ball out of bounds. It'll be St. Mary's ball.
And I'm not sure if our mics picked it up, but you heard on the press, Coach Martins, normally when you drop a press, you kind of have an idea of where the ball is going, and you kind of have to anticipate it. And Coach Martin immediately calling for Elias's name, but Desi just a step slow as she wasn't able to get the ball. But nonetheless, created the turnover as St. Mary's with possession once again. Pullins, fadeaway jumper from the baseline is good. 37-35, Rattlers have their first lead in quite some time now.
And another thing about the press is that when you commit to it, what you're doing is...
Elias, active hands, Desi all alone on the break, and Desi will scoop it in for 2. 39-35, and a timeout called by Bobby Cope and the Rogers State Hillcats as St. Mary's clicking on all cylinders here at this juncture of the ball game. 10-12 left to play. 39-35 is the score as you are watching Rattler basketball on the Rattler Network. Just over 10 minutes left to play in this one. St. Mary's up by 4. They have outscored Rogers State here in the second half as, good up and under move, but unable to finish. On the play is Evans. St. Mary's looking to add to their lead. Up to Littlejohn. Kyra tried to slip it over to Troell.
And you see Coach Martin's clapping right there, a little bit half-heartedly because of the turnover, but he likes what his girls are doing. They're pushing the pace, sharing the ball, and if they had been able to get the pass on accurately, it looked like it would have been a nice chance for Troell to convert for 2 on the fast break.
As I mentioned earlier, St. Mary's outscoring Rogers State 14-4 as Etheridge tips the ball to herself as she pushes it over to Littlejohn. Looking a bit like Dennis Rodman, the rebounding, not anything else, but just the rebounding, able to tip the ball to herself as Pullins. Fadeaway jumper in the lane is good. And this is where Morgan Pullins seems to assert herself, impose her will on the ball game. Pullins now with 18 points.
Yeah, go along with 10 rebounds as well. She's for sure started to put her fingerprints on this game. As it looks like we're going to get Desi on a foul right there for a hand check. She has to be careful now. That's her 4th foul. One more and she's out of the game, and it looks like she'll go ahead and sit and simmer for a little bit as Marquez will check back into the game.
Ball inbounded by Payne over to Bunch. Bunch swings it over to the left side. Good ball movement by Rogers State as they're able to swing the ball from left to right with relative ease as Pullins jumps the passing lane. Still in possession of the Hillcats as they now have 10 on the shot clock. High screen and roll. Bunch, the ball handler. Hesitation dribble. Good defense by Lil John. Loses the ball, and now Etheridge able to get in front of the D. Etheridge, swooping to the lane. No good as she wanted that lane to go, but to no avail as she'll head to the line to shoot 2.
Yeah, Key taking that one out on the stanchion just a little bit. Etheridge also on double-double alert. She's got 13 points to go along with 7 rebounds, so we'll see if she can start to grab some boards and complete that double-double.
First free throw from Kiara is no good.
Kiara now 3 of 5 from the free throw line today. And I like the activity that St. Mary's has on the defensive end. Just about, well, not just about, every single Rattler player who has played significant minutes has a steal to their name. They have 12 steals total as a team, and Morgan Pullins trying to get another.
Pullins able to get back. Pump fake, and the ball goes into the backcourt violation as St. Mary's has turned up the defensive intensity here in the second half.
Yeah, and just the scramble defense drills that you see these girls do every single day before they play a game, and every single practice just really shown right there on that possession. Good job of recovering, getting the feet stuttering the way you're supposed to. Here's Troell. Her shot is sent back.
Good block there by Jones as a 2-on-1 fast break. Jones unable to capitalize as Etheridge comes up with the loose ball. Etheridge stops on a dime as Rattlers look to reset.
20 seconds on the shot clock. Plenty of time here.
Little John gets a screen from Troell. Kyra tried to get it down low to Pullins, but it is deflected and into the hands of Bunch. Over to the right side now, Newton nearly loses her balance, throws up a wild shot, but she's able to draw the foul. And we have a timeout on the floor, 7:24 left to play. Rattlers up by 7, and now we are joined by the one and only Ruben Dominguez for his in-game insight. Ruben, what have you seen from the Rattlers here in the second half that has allowed for them to open up this 7-point lead?
Well, Brian, I think the girls have really come out to play this second half. They've got a lot of good points in transition as far as getting steals and rebounds and taking it fast up the court. And their defense has really improved much from the first half. And they see them leading by 7 here.
And Ruben, we've noticed that the pace of the game has really started to pick up here in the second half, kind of like it was to start. How much has the intensity increased in your eyes? Is it really a lot more significant down there than what we can see up here?
Well, the girls down on court, they've been really fast and have been pushing the tempo. I think that has translated well to their 7-point lead.
And as Joe pointed out, the intensity picking up. St. Mary's allowing only 4 points here in the second half. Has there been anything different you've seen in the second half in contrast to the first, or have they just kind of weathered the storm?
Well, just to go back to my first point, the defense has really picked up for the girls, and that's been aided by Morgan Pullins' 4 blocks on the night. So I think if they keep that up, they'll be just fine closing out this game.
Awesome. Well, thanks for the always great insight, Ruben. As we return to the action, first free throw is good. And I'm not quite sure what the delay is, but Newton will have a shot at free throw number 2, which is good.
And Newton doing all she can. She has 37 points. The rest of the Hillcat team has a combined 20. So we see a
dangerous pass.
Timeout called.
Timeout called by Coach Martins, as he saw imminent danger occurring. That was a bad pass under your own basket by Trowell, courtesy of the full court trap, and head coach Bobby Cope did not like it, and I'm not sure our cameras caught it, but Coach Martins calmly pointing to the referee, saying that he did get the timeout off just in time, a quick 30-second timeout, and that could have been a real momentum shifter, as Rogers State was able to come up with a steal right under their own basket.
Yeah, it would have made it a one-possession game if they were able to score off of that, but good timeout there by Coach Martins. There's 26 seconds on the shot clock right now, so St. Mary's is going to have to get this ball across the half-court line in just 6 seconds, something that I'm sure that they discussed in that timeout, and they just barely do.
Little John gets a pick from Pullins. Over to Etheridge. Kiara driving down the left side, too strong. Pullins, her putback no good. Morgan with another opportunity, and this time she gets patered.
A good job there by St. Mary's going on and attacking. Might have had some mismatches based off of just breaking that press defense. Pullins definitely did have one down low, and that's why she was able to grab those 2 offensive boards.
Bunch able to get it over to the left side. Oh, forced up shot, and another basket goes in for Burford, as now Rogers State able to get some points on the board. They trail by 5 as St. Mary's was able to break the press, and the foul trouble of Desi Elias really making it difficult for the Rattlers to have that go-to ball handler. However, we have solid ball handlers in Etheridge, as she's displaying right there as she gets to the basket, plus the foul, as Kiara Etheridge will head to the line looking to complete the 3-point play.
And Etheridge really coming into her own as a penetrator. She's been strong going to the basket all day, and now she'll attempt free throw number 7 on the night for her. That's a good way to know that she's been aggressive.
And the 3-point play the Kiara way is good. Rattlers open up an 8-point lead, and before that 3-point play by Kiara, I was talking about the number of ball handlers on this Rattlers squad. Despite the fact they're primary ball handlers on the bench with 4 fouls, you have Little John, who can play the point, as good hard-nosed defending, and she is called for the block, much to the dismay of the Rattler faithful. But you have Little John, and you have Etheridge, who is a hybrid type 4, where she could play down low, get the rebounds, but she can also bring the ball up. And partner, you saw the replay. Your opinion on that foul on Kyra?
Well, it looked like a little bit of shoulder into Kyra's stomach more so than anything else. Kyra's straight up, but tough one to call, and bang play, and I guess the referees got the free throws call out of that one. It's not something where I'm necessarily upset by the call, but it's been a consistent call all game long, so I'm okay with the call.
Little John, and she is fouled on the play as she was trying to avoid getting trapped by a pair of Hillcats, and it'll be a 1-and-1 situation for St. Mary's. Little John will head to the line.
Kyra doing a good job of taking advantage of her speed right there. Usually against the press, you don't want to go down that sideline. It can be detrimental towards your team, but when you have the speed advantage and you have no one pressuring you up the sideline like Kyra did right there, go ahead, take advantage, get it across that half-court line as Kyra puts in both free throws and now sits at 3 points on the game. We're going to have a timeout here for the Hillcats.
Timeout, 5.5 left to play. Rattlers up by 8. You are watching Rattler Basketball on the Rattler Network. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. 5.5 minutes left to play. St. Mary's up by 8. We'd like to remind all of you that our next broadcast will be this Saturday, live from Bill Greehey Arena at 1 p.m. as the St. Mary's Rattlers will take on the University of Arkansas Fort Smith. Tip-off for that game scheduled for 1 p.m. Following that one, the men will take the court as their tip-off is slated for 3 p.m. And speaking of the men's team, we will have their game right here following the conclusion of this one as they will take on the men of Rogers State University. Partner, you will be on the call for that one as Little John comes up with the steal. And as we kind of take a sneak preview into the men's game, Rattlers in a, I believe, 4-way tie for the #1 seed in the Heartland Conference. A very important game indeed in the Heartland Conference for the men.
I think it might be even a 5-way tie. Everyone just tied up top with that conference record. Yes, indeed, a 5-way tie. I have the privilege of having Marvin Benny with me in 2 classes this semester, and so I always get to pick his brain when the tempo of the class is kind of slowing down or we're taking a little break or something, and he's been telling me how excited he is and the rest of the team are for this next upcoming game and the one after that. It's the time of the year where they are really, really enjoying playing these games. And I'm sure it's exact same kind of mentality over on the women's side as that one's put in for 2 by the Hillcats.
Hillcats still on the press as St. Mary's an excellent job of breaking the press. That's, I believe, their 3rd, maybe 4th time in a row that they've been able to break the press as Etheridge working the top of the key, picked up her dribble, swings it over to Little John. 13 left on the shot clock. Rattlers up by 6. Etheridge forces one up as she gets fouled. She'll head to the line for 2. And
so aggressive.
Yes.
So aggressive today.
So aggressive indeed. And what a luxury it must be to have that type of player that you could get the ball to late in the shot clock and create her own opportunity as that one clangs off the front rim.
Well, the thing that's really luxurious about it is she's your #2 scorer today. She's got 17 points, which ties the leading scorer on the Hillcat side of things.
Etheridge with 17 points and 8 rebounds. Leading scorer for the Rattlers is Morgan Pullinge. She has 20 points and 12 rebounds. Yet another double from Morgan Pullinge as she's doing her job.
Yeah, and Etheridge just got an offensive rebound there. She's now 1 away from her own double-double.
An offensive foul is called, and I believe it'll be called on Trowell. Rather, it is on Morgan Pullinge. That is her first personal foul, and that is something that we have not seen much of. Morgan Pullinge picking up her first personal foul with 4 minutes left to play in the game.
Yeah, she's been working extremely hard on her tendencies where she's been fouling a lot at the start of the game. She's been picking her spots as to when to go for blocks and when to just go straight up.
Oh, beautiful play there as Bunch was about to fall down, kept her balance, and was able to dish it off over to Payne, who was able to scoop it in for 2. 4-point lead for St. Mary's as they slow the pace down.
And you can tell that Pullinge has really started to really get the hang of when to go for blocks, when to go straight up. She has 4 blocks today, and she misses that one. That one tipped up, no good. And 4 blocks versus 1 foul committed, that's a pretty good ratio, and that's a good sign of a paint protector right there.
Ball swung around. We have 3 minutes left to play. Entry pass. And a foul is called. Let's see who they call it on.
Looks like a lot of ball, but probably some arm too.
And it is called on Kiara Etheridge as we are under the 4-minute mark. 3:06 left to play. Our final media timeout. Rattlers lead by 4. We'll have a quick timeout, but stay tuned. More upcoming after this. .306 left to play in what has been an excellent game featuring the St. Mary's Rattlers and the Rogers State Hillcats. Brian Maglione alongside Joe Rodriguez calling the action here as the first free throw falls through. And now it is a one-possession game as Desi Elias checks back into the ball game.
Yep, and Desi playing with those 4 fouls. She has to be careful. Both teams will be shooting at least 1 and 1 for the remainder of the half as the press has been called off by the Hillcats.
Jones able to hit both free throws, cutting this lead to 2. Desi with the ball gets a screen from Pullins.
Zone defense here.
Collapsing on Morgan as Morgan called for the double dribble. She claims that she lost possession of the ball, but nonetheless, it'll be Hillcat ball as they trail by 2. Littlejohn guarding Bunch at the top, able to fight through a screen. Good ball denial down low by Etheridge. Troell up top now guarding Payne. Payne dribbles left, gets it over to Bunch, guarded by Littlejohn. 10 on the shot clock. Cross-court pass. And the shot is launched and good. Count it for Jordan Evans as this game is all tied at 49. 2:15 left to play. Whomever wins this last 2 minutes, 15 seconds wins the game. Obviously, Brian. As Etheridge drives baseline, double pumps, hangs in the air, banks it home.
And a much-needed bucket there by Kiara. The Hillcats had been on an 8-0 run there in the last 3 minutes and 35 seconds. And Etheridge delivering when it was most important with a nice 2 right there.
Etheridge now with 19 points in 37 minutes of play. She is 7 of 11 from the field. Let us go through our leaders. Morgan Pullins with 20 points, Etheridge with 19. The only other player in double figures for either team is Michaela Newton, who has 17. As for blocked shots, Morgan Pullins has 4 to lead the Rattlers. Amari Jones with 5. And the only other person to record a block, you'll never guess it, but it was Desi Elias who got a block as well as we return to action.
And another important team stat to look at, the Rattlers out-rebounding the Hillcats now 31-27.
Oh, good move down low, untouched by Newton as she now has 19 to tie the game at 51.
Excellent use of the screen to re-screen to get the easy lane to the basket. Good lane for 2 as well.
Littlejohn swings it over to Elias. 15 left on the shot clock. Littlejohn working, gets it over to Etheridge. Double team, swung over to Elias. Desi for 3. off iron, no good. Etheridge puts it back up, no! And Kiara dives, able to kick it back out to Elias. A big second chance opportunity coming up for the St. Mary's Rattlers.
What a way to get your double-double.
Handed back up top to Desi. 15 left on the shot clock. We are under a minute here inside Bill Griehe Arena. Rattlers and Hill Cats tied at 51, and a costly turnover there. 53 seconds left to play as the ball squirts right out of Little John's hands.
Both teams have now committed 20 turnovers. That's one per a minute.
And they charge that turnover to Desi Elias. Rogers State entry pass stolen by Etheridge.
Again, St. Mary's doing a great job.
On the breakaway, Morgan nearly loses it. Morgan puts it up, no good. Morgan with another chance. And St. Mary's, the ball squirts to the backcourt. And a backcourt violation with 25.7. Rattlers had a chance to take the lead, but now Rogers State could hold for the final shot opportunity. It was just 2 games ago at Oklahoma Christian. Rattlers lose in the final seconds. Ball is stolen. Rattlers will hold for the final shot opportunity. Big defensive stop there. Elias brings the ball up court, and Coach Martins will call for time with 11.1 seconds to go. High drama here inside Bill Griehe Arena, and this is not even a week removed from what is dubbed by many as the greatest Super Bowl ever this past Sunday. Both teams here tied at 51, partner.
Well,
what do you draw up if you're Coach Martins for St. Mary's?
Well, 11.1 seconds remaining. It's an eternity. You can have at least 2-3 passes in here. If I'm Coach Martins, what the Hillcats have gone to in these last crucial possessions have been that zone defense. So I'm going to try to set up some kind of high-low action that's going to work between Etheridge and Pullins. They're the two who have gotten you to this point here in this game. They have 39 of your 51 points. I'm going to try to get my 2 bigs in some kind of action working together here on this final play.
11.1 seconds left. Game tied at 51, and we'll see who are the 5 for the Rattlers on the floor. It'll be the same 5. Elias, Trowell, Pullins, Littlejohn, and Etheridge. Etheridge inbound to Kyra.
It will be
10
so.
on the shot clock. Littlejohn working at the top of the key. 4, 3, over to Trowell, interior pass, Pullins off the front iron, no good, and we are headed to overtime. That is as good of an opportunity you are going to get. Beautiful pass by Trowell as she was sandwiched by 3 players. As we look at it on our replay system here, pass over to Etheridge, Trowell creating space for Pullins, who just left it short of the mark.
It was a beautiful play design. They knew that the Hillcats were going to run that zone. Pass over the wing to draw that defender out, pass it down low in order to draw in the interior defender, and then one final pass to Pullins. They got the shot they wanted, just were not able to convert. That was a great play drawn up there against that zone defense, which St. Mary's did an amazing job of anticipating against. And now for the Rattlers, they head to overtime action. 5 minutes to decide this one in an all-important Heartland Conference matchup.
We will take a quick break, but we'll be right back. Overtime here inside Bill Griehe Arena. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Overtime inside Bill Griehe Arena. 5 extra minutes on the board as Pullins wins the tip over to Elias, who kicks it back to Kyra Littlejohn.
Two crucial players in foul trouble here to keep an eye on. Desi Elias, she has 4 fouls committed. Also on the other side, Michaela Newton, the leading scorer with 19 points for the Hillcats. She has 4 fouls as well.
And Elias will launch a 3 off the front iron, no good. Long rebound ends up in the hands of Cammie Bunch. And partner, we're looking through our statistics, and I believe this is St. Mary's first overtime game of the season. Rogers State, they've played in 1, maybe 2, where you got to check our stats, as a good interior pass leads to a lay-in by Jordan Evans as the Hillcats recapture the lead and they score the first bucket of overtime.
Hillcats, they're 0-1 in overtime this year. 1-1. They played 2 games. They beat A&M International as another turnover here committed by the Rattlers. Not quite the start they wanted to this overtime. And really in overtime, your start can really dictate the way that it goes. These 5 minutes seem to go so quickly.
Ball swung around over to the right side now. 7 on the shot clock. Crossover dribble. And a foul is called. And we'll see who it is called on. It'll be on Morgan Pullins. And they say that Pullins stuck her leg out. And we'll see. We'll see if Morgan honestly committed the foul, and it didn't look like much contact was made.
A little bit of a reach-in right there. And when a player falls down and you see a reach-in as a referee, it's going to be called.
Second free throw by Newton is good, and it is a 2-possession game. Rattlers at one point were up by 8 in the second half. Rogers State was able to finish the half on an 8-0 run, as the Rattlers still looking for their first point in this overtime period. Littlejohn swings it over to Etheridge. Etheridge driving in, lefty, no good. Etheridge tried to tip it to herself, and now here's Bunch and the Rogers State Hillcats. Newton tied up by Etheridge. A jump ball is called, but possession will stay with Rogers State.
Just a reminder to everybody, fouls do not reset going into the overtime in college basketball. So both teams will still be shooting at least the 1-1. Both teams having committed 18 fouls.
Rogers State could milk some clock. Up by 4. Elias checking Bunch, forcing Bunch to her left. Elias gets leveled by that pick. Bad shot by Bunch, and it falls out of bounds off of Etheridge's leg, but the shot clock does not reset as it hit nothing but the backboard. Rattlers need to get in their defensive set quickly, as the Hillcats have only 6 seconds to get a shot off.
I'm sure that's one Etheridge would like to have back.
5 on the clock. Stop, pop, short off the iron, bounces around. Pullins mistimed it, and Elias has fouled out of the ball game. And it will be Jones to the line to shoot 2. And that shot just hung on the rim. Pullins timed her jump just right, but that second bounce off the rim resulted in her being out of position, as Jones will be at the line to shoot 2. Jones splashes in the first. A 5-point advantage now for Rogers State. We are midway through the overtime period. Rogers State has scored 5 straight points here in overtime, make it 6 as St. Mary's trails by 6, 57-51.
It feels like the Rattlers, they just need to get a bucket right here. And they need to get something to get their confidence going.
Marquez over to Littlejohn. 17 on the shot clock. Littlejohn flips one up off the back iron, no good. And now the Hillcats can slow the pace down.
Foul committed, ouch.
And Littlejohn takes a shot right to the mouth as she heads back up, and it looks like she'll walk over to the Rattler bench. She took a shot as she tried to draw the charge.
Yeah.
But she's a tough customer as she looks to stay into the ball game. Newton will head to the line.
I think they got Littlejohn on the foul there.
Newton,
that's her fourth,
with 21 points, the only Hillcat in double figures.
Double bonus here.
Double bonus as St. Mary's now with over 10 team fouls. Newton at the line, and that one rolls home. 2 minutes exactly remain in overtime, and Littlejohn will have to...
Looks like she has to be bleeding in order for them to sit her over the bench then.
Yeah, and it's the officials said that there is blood on Littlejohn, and our head trainer, Nathan Byerly, one of the best in the business, will tend to Kyra. Rattler fans, we remind you, following this one, the men will take the floor as Rogers State will take on the St. Mary's Rattlers in an all-important Heartland Conference matchup. Tip-off slated 30 minutes approximately after this one, as an 8-0 run for the Rogers State Hillcats. And I believe it's a 16-0 run if you date it back to the end of regulation. Marquez nearly loses her dribble. Loses the ball. Etheridge there to pick it up. Rattlers need to get something going and fast. Marquez lines up a three, short, and out of the reach of Morgan Pullins.
The Rattlers need to find a way to get the ball inside against this zone defense. It might be, and a foul called there on Troell. It might be tempting to go ahead and hoist up a shot from beyond the arc, but down by 8 points with 1:36 remaining, it's still doable for you to come back into this game with 2-point buckets. Hillcats, though, they haven't missed a free throw here in the overtime session, and they've defended without fouling themselves, as Vargas will check into the game and Troell will head out.
And both free throws are good. Hillcats up by 10. Rattlers need something fast as Coach Martins calls time. 1:34 left in this one. Rattlers trail by 10. We'll take a quick break. 30-second timeout. We'll take a quick break, but stay tuned. More upcoming after this. .134 left to play in overtime. Rattlers trail by 10 to Rogers State. Littlejohn working the dribble, gets it over to Etheridge. Etheridge drives hard to the basket. Lefty layup is good, and that is the first bucket of the ball game for the Rattlers, as Etheridge nearly comes up with the steal, but it stops the clock now with 1:21 left to play, and why not try to send Rogers State to the free throw line, despite the fact that they've been perfect at the line. 19 of 19 from the charity stripe. Bunch will head to the line. You might as well stop the clock, make them earn every point that they get, as Bunch sinks the first of two.
Yeah, the free throw shooting Really a huge difference maker here. You mentioned it, 20 of 20 now for the Hillcats. St. Mary's are 10 of 19.
And the first free throw missed. The Hillcats as a team made 20 in a row before that first miss.
Still zone defense.
Oh, good pass to Pullins as Morgan lays it in.
Oh, that one almost stolen away by Etheridge. 7 points now is the advantage for the Hillcats. The Rattlers are they're going to press, and if they're not able to create that turnover, then they're just going to go ahead and foul, try to get quick buckets of their own. It's really their only viable option right now. Otherwise, the Hillcats will just run the clock on out. If you're St. Mary's, you can try to go ahead and defend up until that half-court line and see if you can force a violation. But again, that's 10 seconds at least that's going to go off the clock. And if you're the Rattlers, time is the biggest opponent right now.
If you're St. Mary's, at this point of the game, you have to throw everything but the kitchen sink. Well, heck, including the kitchen sink if you want to try to make this interesting. The final minute 9. Trapped in the corner, Pullins, and a traveling violation is called as Bunch comes up limping. And that is a big stop. Only 2 seconds got cut off the clock as Marquez will inbound the ball. Littlejohn with the ball. Vargas in the corner. Over to Kyra. She drives to the right. Marquez lines up a 3. It's good. Kehlani Marquez with a big-time three-pointer. And the lead back down to 4 as Rattlers foul.
And Etheridge fouling immediately after that one was inbounded. I would have liked to see her go on ahead, give him a chance to trap that one out. It was going to be a trap in the corner, but nonetheless, it'll be Newton heading to the line, shooting 2.
Newton perfect from the line. If you're St. Mary's, this isn't necessarily the person you want at the line, although the clock does stop, and Newton unable to hit the first.
Newton now 8 of 9 from the free throw line, 23 points to her name. These are some big ones.
The crowd trying to make some noise and misses. Pullins grabs the board over to Vargas. Vargas brings the ball up. She gets it over to Littlejohn. Rattlers 2-possession game. Littlejohn all the way to the basket and good.
That zone defense is starting to be exploited. Newton dribbling up the floor. She loses the ball, but a foul called.
Rattlers playing with a lot of grit and a lot of heart.
This was a 10-point game with 1:30 remaining. 45 seconds later, it's a different story.
Newton at the line, missed her last 2. Let's see if the nerves will get to her. A 1-possession game and calmly sinks the first. She'll need this one to make it a 2-possession ball game.
If you're St. Mary's, you do not need a 3-pointer necessarily this next possession.
This crowd trying to distract Newton, but she calmly sinks the next 2. Rattlers trail by 4.
You still do not need a 3-pointer if you're St. Mary's. They're going to go on ahead. They're going to try to create a 3-pointer. If it's a wide open one, go on ahead and shoot it. You got 42 seconds. A 2 would do just fine. Put the pressure on the Hillcats to have to make their free throws. For St. Mary's, they're going to have to go ahead. They got to get a bucket this possession. I'll be interested to see if the Hillcats stay in that zone that got them to that 10-point lead, or if they're going to plan to switch it up here and go back to that man-to-man that they played for the majority of the game. The zone has seemed to be something that the Rattlers have been able to prevent. They're going to try to fake it to looking like a man defense, but by the way the back 3 are lining up, it looks like a zone to me.
Okay, Littlejohn bring the ball up. Kyra over to Marquez. Marquez over to Littlejohn. Sideline jumper off the back rim. Ball bouncing around. And Littlejohn will foul Newton with 28.3 left to play. And Marquez had the 3 in the corner, but she did not take it, elected to dish it off, and you could see the bench telling her, hey, you had the shot. She had just made the 3 earlier, and now Newton will head to the line.
Yeah, Littlejohn just fouled out of the game. So the Rattlers starting guards are out of for the rest of this one. Elias and Littlejohn both out. Marquez will head out of the game as well as Troel will enter into the game. And into the game for the first time today, Ciara Briseño, the sophomore for the Rattlers.
Newton at the line to shoot 2.
She's going to have to play a big 28 seconds here as Newton calmly knocks down the first.
And the second free throw is good. Troel over to Vargas. 26 seconds left. Vargas, Briseño out of bounds. And Rogers State will inbound the ball. St. Mary's will press. And Vargas called for the immediate foul on Newton. And it looks like the Rattlers' last gasp has fallen a bit short. They made that run down by 10. They're able to cut the lead down to 2. But just not enough juice as Newton will head to the line to put the finishing touches on what has been an exciting game.
It's 28 now for Newton. She's done it all at the free throw line this overtime.
And Rogers State sending all their players back on defense. They are now up by 8. Vargas bringing the ball up the court. Over to Etheridge. Etheridge will launch a 3. Back iron, no good. Pullins with the board. Turn around. She gets hammered, but no foul is called, and Rogers State will play this out. And the finishing touches.
Don't lay that one in.
Unfortunately for Rogers State, the basket does go. Well, unfortunately for the Rattlers, rather, as the final 70-60, St. Mary's falls to Rogers State for the second time this season. Rattlers fall to 6-6 in the conference, 12-8 overall. Rogers State improves to 7-13, 5-7 in the conference. They improve their road record to 3-6. Rattlers have their first home loss of the season. We will be joined in a moment by Coach Jason Martins after this quick break. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Final score 70-60. Rogers State defeats St. Mary's here inside Bill Greehey Arena. We are joined by Coach Jason Martins. Coach, a difficult loss. Your team came out a bit sluggish in the first half. Second half, you really turned it on, outscoring them at one point 18-4. But it seemed like you guys didn't have enough juice in the end.
No, I don't know if we just got tired there down the stretch or what, but our mental focus the last 4 minutes was non-existent, and and that's frustrating because we take pride in finishing ball games, and this is back-to-back, or 2 of the last 3 ball games where we haven't finished at the end, and we got to figure out something here.
And in overtime, they got off to that quick start in overtime. How tough was it for you guys to just regroup in overtime?
It's tough. Overtime's all about some momentum, and We lost some momentum from the very start. We gained it right there, fighting back, but fortunately, we probably just ran out of gas there at the end.
Well, thanks, Coach, for joining us.
Thanks.
The final score here, Rattlers lose in overtime, 70-60 against Rogers State. Partner, your final thoughts on this very difficult loss for St. Mary's. An important conference game just didn't go their way.
Well, for the Rattlers, a lot of correctable mistakes. They turned the ball over, and they turned it over a lot. A total of 22 turnovers on the St. Mary's side. Also, no bench points whatsoever out of the Rattler bench. That's something that it can really, really hurt you, and it was something that hurt the Rattlers here today. They ended up ultimately getting out rebounded as well, 26-23. That's something that's uncharacteristic. 26-20, getting out rebounded like that when you have two of your players with double doubles. You need more players stepping up on the boards for you besides Etheridge and Pullins. Both of them had very solid games, but for the Rattlers, it's going to be one that's going to be tough to regroup from. Fortunately from them, they're still around that bubble spot. They're currently 6-6. The next team behind them is Texas Permian Basin, and for the Rattlers, that's a game that they're going to get to look forward to. They're also going to be playing Fort Smith. That one's going to be a real test. They're 9-2 in conference play. They come in here Saturday, and you can tell just by Coach Martins the way he was acting. It's something that he wants to correct. It's something that he really feels he needs to correct. And I wouldn't bet against Coach Martins. He's been so good during his time here at St. Mary's.
Well, as you can see on the floor, the men have taken the floor for their warm-ups. You can catch that game right here on the Rattler Network. But for right now, for Joe Rodriguez, David Tovar, and the rest of us here at the Rattler Network, this has been Brian Maglioan. Thank you for joining us and spending part of your Thursday night with us.